to the May 2024 edition of Easy Talks. I'm your girl, Erica, and I am the E in Easy, and this is my SS.
Zinda Lynette, the Z of Easy.
And we are here. So it's really interesting because before we got started, my SS and I, we were going back and forth, and we're like, okay, what's going to be the intention of Easy Talks this month? What are we going to talk about? And then what happened, SS?
We came up with what we're going to talk about. We had some intentional conversation in love and truth. How about that?
We did, yes. And so, like, just because one of the things about Easy Talks that I love so much is that together we really, really, really hold the intention to show up raw, real, uncut, unfiltered. Like, ain't no other extraness. It's just us coming and sharing from our heart space, from our real life experience, from the here and now, from our journey, from just our authenticity. And when we first started talking, we're like, okay, what are we going to talk about? And then Z is like, well, how about we talk about this thing that's happening on Saturday, Embrace Your Power workshop. And I'm sitting here and she's talking. I was like, oh, you got your friend doing something on that is so cool. And then I was like, she's talking about me. I was like, oh, me, right, the embrace. I was like, somebody else that's doing a workshop like that? What?
Like, how you gonna be here? And am I?
Right. We may need to connect and maybe do some like, what are you talking about in your workshop? This is what I'm talking about. Like, we might need to link and connect. But no, she was talking about me. So it's interesting because when she offered that idea, my thing was like I did think about it, but I've been talking about it so much, like I don't, like there is a part of me that felt a level of resistance, and I'm, like people are probably tired of hearing about this workshop, and like every time I'm showing up, I'm talking about this workshop, and like what and my sis brought up something that I love so much. Like she gave me permission. You know what I mean? Like permission to continue talking about this, permission to show up wholly and fully and talk about what is unfolding in real life in real time. And I've been a student of personal development, actually since 2017. So for about 7 years. And, I think about these teachers that I've had and these mentors and these coaches. And I've always kind of seen like them and me and them and me. And so it's really been a process to begin to give myself permission to be part of. Because again, like they're over there in my mind, they're all over there, and here I am. So I'm the student. I'm the one that needs to learn more. I'm the one that needs to do more. I'm the one that needs to grow more. I'm the one that, all of these things. And it's almost like, sis, you've talked about this a lot, like that idea of putting them up on a pedestal. But something that has been coming to me more and more and more and more and more, like there's this beautiful saying, and I wish that I had it. And so, like, if you do know it, feel free to drop it in the comments or send one of us a message. But it's this quote or the saying, whatever, like, neither above nor below, but like as is. Like, there's no one who is above us, and there is no one who is below us. We all, and now I'm adding my own flair, but we're all connected heartbeat to heartbeat. And when I can recognize the heartbeat in you and you can recognize the heartbeat in me, it puts us in balance. It puts us in even space. I may have more information. I may have more knowledge. I may have more academic studies in an area, but it never places me above or below anybody else. In this thing called life, we all reside in this place. You know, like there's a level of balance where there's the whole idea of the hierarchy and all of that. Like that's BS. You know,
Right.
our titles do not define us. The amount of money that we have does not define us. So these coaches and mentors and teachers and all of them, that's a title. At the end of the day, when they wake up and when they go to bed at night, their heart beats just like mine does. And so allowing myself again to give myself permission to be part of and to remember my why, because my why is not to enter into the space of look at look at me all high and mighty on my horse and keeping it 100. It used to be. I used to like I aspired to that because I felt like I had been so low. I wanted to finally get my ish together and act like I'm somebody. Um, but the falling off of that is what really humbled me to be like at the end of the day, we all are. You
Oh,
are
most
part of me. I am part of
definitely.
you. It is we. And sis, you talk about that so beautifully in the quote from the African proverb of, you know, how far I can go alone is great, but I can get much further together. And that's that piece, and that's really the energy that I'm bringing to the Embrace Your Power workshop. Like, because that really, like, just keeping it all the way 100, that's it. Like, I'm I'm still a student and I'm a teacher. I'm both and. You know, I am a lifelong learner. I love to learn. I love to know more. And I'm like, if it's another way and it can benefit the whole, what? Sign me all the way up. I want to know. I want some of that. Yes, please. Thank you.
Yeah.
Um, so since as we're talking about this whole thing and especially you know, like I'm in this process of this workshop and like this is the first official offering of the Lighthouse Kalamazoo and I'm just like, hey, I'm like I'm in there and I'm getting it. But from Kalamazoo, Michigan, all the way down to Naples, Florida, I have this soul sister who is also in the process of birthing something, of creating something, of sowing into something, of offering something that is powerful, that is transformative, that is life changing, life altering. This offering. So, sis, can you talk about like how is that like because it started in Naples and then you came back home and now you're back in Naples getting ready to
Yeah.
release it. So
Yeah.
what is that like for you?
Oh gosh. It is humbling. It is transformative. It's intimate because it really it's directed me again to go inward, like my sis, bloom inward. And that inward bloom is continually forcing its way through those negative DNA architecture traits, behaviors. And it has been one of the best projects ever thus far.
Mm.
Um, I've been pushed by my editor. My editor's name will be released in the book. And it's surreal when you talk about, and now, I'm back in Naples. Um, it's a beautiful thing because it's really to best say it. It's been humbling. It's been a space of where all of the practices, which is the goal of the book, of this project, is to have the tools, practices, and modalities. So when that negativity from that architecture, that DNA that I talk about even on my post yesterday, that stuff that's built in from you, from your village, in love, of course, right? In love, as they curated and raised me. But some of those things, and then the self-imposed ones from other people just from life, this book has those tools in there to help me navigate it. So I've been deep, deep, deep in those spaces. So the beauty of being back in Naples, away from my comfort of home, if you will, it allows space for me really to truly go inward and deal with those blooms. And instead of allowing any negativity to affect the bloom that's coming, that will be birthed and be shared with us, it is allowing me to pluck away at those roots that are no good, those plants, those pieces of the plants that are no good, cutting that dead off so that the birth, as it comes out, it's going to help me, because this book, yes, is I'm birthing it to the world, but it really is for me. It's a work of love, a work of instruction and resource, so that as I navigate this next phase in life, in this 50s, because it is my third phase, per my human design, it's going to be what sustains me. And it has been sustaining me as I've been in Naples, digging deep into wellness practices, digging deep into continuing my Wednesday and Sundays, with my spiritual father, Pastor Moore, and not even in this traditional sense of going to the church house, but even having that reach, and then having that sacred space with my sis when I'm feeling down, or I'm feeling like I had a blocked heart chakra. And to be able to have those conversations that we had on, I think it was on Tuesday we talked, and just through sheer having sacred space held for me, I was able to say, oh, well, dang, I need to work in my heart center. So to go deeply into meditative work, to be able to unblock that stagnant energy and to release all of that. So being back here has been, it's been very, very cultivating. And I look forward to Saturday, Embrace Your Power, because the reality is, and I don't know if we talked about this much in our other 10 or 11 easy talks, but it is truly the work, and I do touch on it in Audacity to Be. It is the work of you, bloom inward, is where where it started, where we connected, and the discovered human design with you. That is what gave me the footing and the blueprint and the bearing, and to even know how to move, and to how to acknowledge and recognize what those things are that, or society will tell you, oh, that's rude, or that's she's this or she's that, or I'm this, I'm that. But it gave me that blueprint to navigate with bold intentionality. So Saturday's workshop, yes, I want you to talk about it and talk about it and talk about it, because at one time that you don't talk about it, somebody might miss it. So even if you're repeating it over and over and over, it's somebody that's going to get that nugget. And when I tell you that nugget changed my life several years ago, that very first meeting we had, that very first report that we had, I can't wait for Saturday, because being in a space like we talked about, where I can just continue, I can focus just on me, being the first to put me first in all ways and all ways. And this way right now is to be away from my sacred space of home, so that I can have that solitude and that hermit space, that line to really hone in on what the divine is calling me to do. And I know that when I show up on Saturday, I will be fed, and it will help take me to that next level of the intentionality about what needs to be shared in the life and flow part of my book. Because as my editor shared, last week, this is nice, but this is surface, and I needed to dig deeper. And I've been digging deeper. I've been really in a meditative space, praying about it, and just really just being and not feeling forced. So I know that I will be fed, and it's going to provide me the space and the spiritual soul food that I need in order to take it to where it needs to be for the release on June 22nd, where it will be released on Amazon. So I'm excited. I'm looking forward to Saturday. Looking forward to it.
I so appreciate that. And what something that's been kind of coming back, because as I've shared, whether it's here with Easy Talks or on my personal Facebook, IG, whatever, is like I have been in this entrepreneurial space for the last 7 years, and in so many different capacities. Like, oh, I'm doing this, and oh, I'm doing that, and I'm this and this and this and that, and I want to do this and I want to do that. But the thing that my work has been grounded in is the power of transformation and what is possible when we become willing to do something different to get something different. Because for me, like, that's where my whole journey started. 19 years old, homeless, and I remember standing in the dining room, and I don't remember if I was talking to someone or what it was that sparked it, but I remember standing there. It was a big old oval dining room table, and it hit me like, it's you. It's you. Like, your life is the way that it is right now because of you. And at 19, it hit me so hard. Like, wait, what? Because even though 19 is, like, at 19, I thought I was grown AF and like I had it all together and I knew all the things, even though I was 19 and homeless. I still thought, like, I got it. I know so much. I done been through so much. And that part is true. Like, by 19, I experienced so many things. But it was in that moment, because all those years, especially someone like, I'm a survivor of childhood trauma, complex, because so all of the things just over and over and over and over and over that really impacted. Now I know, like, especially reading books like The Body Keeps the Score and doing research on trauma and the impact that trauma has on the body, and how the body, the gut, is connected to the mind. And so when the body is out of balance, the mind becomes out of balance. And so as a little person, as you are growing, there are things that take place organically. But when trauma comes and trauma hits, it disrupts the organic flow of maturing and evolving and developing. So while other people are doing their regular development, individuals like me who experience trauma as young as age 5 and then continue over and over and over again, all of those traumatic events throw out of sync again that organic nature of development. Because while other people are just regularly developing, I'm processing trauma as a child. And as a child, I think it's my fault. Like, I'm the reason why all of these things happen to me. And then when we have spaces where there's not that level of communication with parents, that then in and of itself creates stuff, because when I don't have anyone I can go to figure out the answers, I then have to figure out the answers by myself. And because I'm young and because my mind's not fully developed, the stories I then begin to tell myself are not even real. But in order for me to maintain my safety and my survival, I got to make this make sense some way. And so I didn't understand that at 19. I now know, because again of all the research and classes and courses and whatever. But then I thought it was your fault, and it was your fault, and it was your fault, and it was your fault. And if you all had not have done all the things that you did, then I would not be where I am. And so to have that moment in the dining room where I was like, nah, boo, it's you. Like, you can't blame, no, it's you. Like, people did do things, and that's on them. But you are responsible for how you show up. You are responsible for your actions. So yes, all that happened, and didn't nobody make you do none of that. You made choices that led you to do the things that you did. And now again, you 19, a homeless boo. And so I think now that I'm saying all that, I think that this revelation, epiphany, came after talking to the shelter manager and her telling me she was about to put my behind out. And she can love me from a distance, but I cannot do the things that I was doing in the shelter and continue to stay there. And I think that moment, that opportunity, that ability for her to see me beyond my behaviors was almost like the catalyst that brought me to the realization that it was me. And so even though I've only been investing in personal development for the last 7 years, I have been on my journey of personal development since 2007. So I'm like, I think about embracing your power, and I think about these moments in time that have transpired in my life and how I had to go there in order to fully and wholly be here. Because today, embracing your power is not about words spoken, it's about feelings felt, it's about literally seeing how my life has evolved since standing there at 19 to now being a 36-year-old woman with 4 kids and a husband and a business owner. And I'm like that, like I have seen me. I have seen what happens with the power of belief. Because for me, for so long, I believed that I was not. I believed the lies that were told about me. Since you talked about the conditioning, the domestication that takes place. And again, today, like one of the most freeing things that I have is that my parents, the people who caused me harm, the people who traumatized me, they were all doing the best they could. They were all doing the best they could. And now I can create a whole lot of stories and a whole lot of narratives around why they did what they did and their intention behind it, and a whole lot of assumptions that sis Don Miguel Ruiz talks about over and over and over and over again in the Four Agreements. But I'm like, again, when we don't know, we're just so busy trying to figure out. But the truth is revealed when we stop and when we pause. Like you said, sis, you're talking about this book. You're talking about your editor who said, hey, this is great. Congratulations. Give yourself a pat on the back and now dive in. Go deeper. Get in there. And you talked about how one of the ways that you got there was through your beingness, through your meditation, through your contemplation, through your stillness. And that goes back to again and again and again and again and again, our conditioning and our programming and our domestication and all the other ings is do. You want something? Go do it. Go get it. Go. Do the most at all times. Put yourself out there. And all of that is great. But if you don't know who you are, if you cannot love yourself and you cannot honor yourself, stop telling people that. Get to know you first. Get to know your truth first before you start taking on the advice of all these other people, because that's what they said, that's the way to go. And the thing is, again, we're indoctrined from young ages to show up in this way from people who are oftentimes miserable AF and fully functioning out of survival mode. And now they're training us, oh, be in survival mode, be the best, do the best, and not be your best, not do your best, but be the best and compete with these hundreds and thousands of millions of other people to shine brighter. But the thing is there's no brighter. We all get to shine bright. My light don't shine no brighter than your light. And just because you forgot you had a light don't mean that light is not there. And that's part of embracing our power. Like all of us, my best is not better than you. My best is better than what I was doing that I said I'm not doing that mess no more. That's the best. And when we can like really tap into and be with and ground into that space, sis, like our lives can change. And I feel like that's the thing that I want to give. And that's where I even started this whole, my little rant, was like, I want to be visible proof of what the F can happen. What can happen when you embrace your power? What can happen when you make a conscious decision to rise, shine, and thrive? I want to be that. And that's what the workshop's about.
Man, I was on mute just because it's lawn day in the neighborhood, and I didn't want it to distract me. Sis, everything you said and some. It's you. I feel like we can cut right there. Thrive and rise. Real talk. Seriously.
That's it. That's all. I mean, that's what it is, sis. And I
Yes.
feel like you shared too.
I want you to share the details, how they can get information to find Embrace Your Power. I have my ticket, so I don't need to. It's on my calendar, and I will be there with. I really can't wait. It's personal, it's intentional, and it's about being the first to put you first in all ways, And when I think about that, um, I got in my head when I first coined that several years ago, and it sounds selfish, but really it's not, because being the first to put you first is dealing with everything that you talked about, acknowledging the fact that as perfect as I think I am, I have I have stuff, and I know some folks don't like the word trauma, but we got stuff. We'll say stuff. We got things. We have been cultivated and etched into this being that's not ourselves. So being the first to put you first in all ways is embracing your power to be authentically who God created us, you, all of us to be.
Mm-hmm.
So empower, embrace your power. Tickets can be purchased where?
So tickets can be purchased at www.thelighthouseKalamazoo.com. I know that is a lot, but it's one word, thelighthouseKalamazoo.com. And then there's a link in there. What'd you say, sis?
We're going to drop it in the comments.
Okay.
www.
So yeah, and tickets can be purchased right there. Tickets will be available up until Saturday morning. Because I want everyone to be able to have access and room. And then two, I do want to share this because those who know me know how I feel about human design. And so there are five main types of human design, and each of those types have their own strategy. So some people get to make decisions at the snap of a finger, either from their spleen or from another area, whatever. The point is their sacral, their spleen, they get to make decisions like this. But then there are people like my sis and I who are emotional authorities. And us being emotional authorities means that we have to ride our whole entire emotional wave before it is in alignment for us to make a decision. Then we have these absolutely beautiful individuals that are reflectors. Now, reflectors are next level because for their decisions, they wait a whole lunar cycle before they're making big decisions. So, embrace your power is not a big decision like you about to go buy a car, buy a house, get married, whether or not you about to have a baby. Like those decisions, 100% definitely allow yourself to go through your lunar cycle. However, like I started talking about this a while ago because I want people to allow themselves to go inward before making this purchase. I don't like it's not like the timing is intentional. Take the time you need to go inward. Does this resonate with you? Are we speaking your language right now? And if we are, buy the ticket, buy the workshop. If you don't know, I have something that I offer called Is This For Me Zoom calls. 30 minutes. I'm not trying to pitch you nothing. I'm not trying to make you sell nothing. I'm just trying to meet you heartbeat to heartbeat. What's up? What's going on in your life? Where is your focal point right now? And are my services, are my offerings right for you? If they're not, I'm gonna tell you straight up, nah, this I ain't there. However, I know lots and lots of people that I will for sure refer you to. But if this is it, if you are in a place where, again, like you sick and tired of being sick and tired, you tired of being miserable, you're tired of surviving, listen to me. I done said it, I done said it, I done said it. And I will continue to say it till I ain't got no more breath in my body. We were not created to survive, period. Like the survival every day, all day. But as an everyday living, what fuels us is not survival, it is thriving. Doug's, God, whoever, whatever you want to call them, him, it, whatever, they love you. Real love, like that Mary J. Real love. Ooh, that, sis, right? Like real love. They love you. Survive? Just barely get by? Stop playing with yourself? No. None of us were created to just merely survive. We have survival instincts innately built into us to make sure that we can survive. That's a given. But once we hit that bare minimum, we get to have the lives that we want. We get to have the life of our dreams. Ain't no dream inside of you planted there on accident. It was planted with purpose and it was planted on purpose. But you cannot live the life you were created for if you are not willing to embrace your power, because you got it. Can't nobody and can't nothing keep you from being you wholly and fully. And if you think, like I did once upon a time, that, oh, I can only, based on them, I can only have this if they, I can only be this if. No, ain't no ifs and buts about it. Stand up. Like really, like get the F up. We done all been down before and it's cool. Like there's nothing wrong with falling. There's nothing wrong with hitting rock bottom. That's part of the human experience. But get the F up. Because we were not created to stay there. We were created to rise. And you ain't got to rise by yourself. It's two people right here. This is not the E show and this is not the Z show. This is easy talks. We are real life people, real life, living real lives. And you don't got to do nothing by yourself. We're here. That's why we come here every single month. If you saw our IGs and our Facebooks, or even if you just solely saw us on YouTube, you don't have to life by yourself. It's a community of people. We got you. And the teacher always appears when the student is ready. Always.
And sis, the beauty of that student-teacher relationship, just like with the mentor and the mentee, both are learning. Both
Talk
are
about
learning.
it.
And when you are in a space, and my mindset used to be like the teacher or the person I'm learning from or a mentor, they're like you talked about, and we've talked about, I used to have them on pedestals, like I expected this, and because this is the way they show up and present. I can present anything. A person can present anything. But when it's truly aligned and assigned, I like to say divinely placed, the teacher is learning from the student just as the student is learning from the teacher. And I would actually be so bold to say that based off of, honestly, and recent experiences with some of my mentors, well, not some, I'll just mentor, is that when they become so above the fact that they're able to see and learn from a mentee, what's the lesson in that? And I say that not in judgment, but as a revelation that I had. And it took me back to being the first to put me first to say, well, why am I, when you talk about feelings, like, why does this come up for me? Because we all can learn.
Mm-hmm.
God puts us in relationships and places for us each to learn. And the moment that we say nobody, like, oh, well, I'm just a mentor, I'm just a teacher, you've cut off, I'm going to say blessings, I'm going to say knowledge, I'm going to say teachings and things that could potentially propel your life.
Mm-hmm.
And I know for me, I had to really think why is it that I'm putting this person here and I'm here.
Mm-hmm.
That self-love, once you start loving
Mm-hmm.
yourself, right? Releasing
Yeah.
all that serve, that old mindset, that old way of thinking, and then truly embracing the fact that relationships matter. And even as she talks about, Jamie talks about in Wordy, like mentors could be, Oprah's my mentor. I love me some Oprah. And it's not just about, the money. It's about how I see her move in
Mm-hmm.
silent moves, and like being in shared spaces. Like when I had the opportunity to attend the Unstoppable virtual workshop, and she talked about working in the prison ministry, if you will. I don't want to be Oprah or like Oprah, but those traits of moving in silence and slowly. My goal is to impact the world and people that God has divinely placed me to be in. And I might not ever even meet those people. But because I'm doing the work, because I'm learning from my teachers and being confident enough when I'm with my teachers and mentors that I share my voice because it matters too, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then as you do that, it's that ripple effect that I talk about in the audacity to be. It ripples and it touches people that those roots go.
Mm-hmm.
Them, I may never know. That's why when we talked about earlier, in Embrace Your Power workshop, no, you need to talk about that. Your marketing team needs you to talk about it because it's that one time that you think about it and you don't, that somebody missed it that needed it. So,
And I appreciate that because just like you shared, sis, about how the book was stretching you so much and just like really allowing you a passageway to go to places inside of you that you either may have been to and then kind of moved around, but now you like, no, I'm gonna go even further. I'm gonna keep going. I'm gonna see what's beyond that layer, and then I'm gonna pull that other layer back, and I'm gonna just keep on diving and see me. I feel like that's what this workshop has done. Like a couple of days ago, you and I were talking, and you inspired me based on our conversation because you met a gentleman at the pool, and he, was an influencer and had all this knowledge about
mhm.
marketing and about the content and posting, and now all of the things. And it wasn't about doing exactly what he said to do the way that he said to do it, but it was about you and I having a conversation and me being open, ready, and willing in that conversation for you to drop a nugget, for you to plant a seed. And I didn't even realize honestly that I was doing that until later in the day. And I went into my Stripe account and I saw that I sold a ticket. And what happened to me when I saw that ticket, I was like, oh, okay, well, like this is what I really wanted. And what I'm seeing is not what I really wanted. And so the voices started talking and all the stuff started rising to the surface. And I'm like, trick no effing good right here, right now in this moment. This what we not gonna do. And so then I went back to a conversation that I'd had with a friend of mine named Becky, and we've been talking a lot about celebrating and celebrating and celebrating and allowing ourselves to celebrate. And so I shut my computer, went in, got a wipe to wipe the table down, and I'm wiping the table down, and I'm like, woo! And I'm like, what? And I'm like, yeah, do it again. So I'm doing it, and I'm like, what? And I'm like, Erica, you being real weird. And my daughter, one of my daughters, was sitting in the chair in the living room, and she was just kind of looking at me, and I was like, Erica, you being awkward AF, you being real weird. And I said, no, I'm about to feel this. I am going to choose with intention to allow myself to celebrate this moment. 2 tickets sold is a big M and deal. And I choose with and on purpose to celebrate. So then, like I said, that inspiration that you had dropped on me, that seed that you had planted, that nugget that you had deposited, I'm like, I'm about to record myself celebrating. And I was like, I am not about to do that. And I said, yes, you are. And so again, it's this dialogue, right? Going back and forth. And then I'm like, so I set this thing up, the little tripod up, and I'm in here and like when as soon as I push record, I could feel my body tensing up. And I moved through it anyways. I broke through the container of my comfort zone, and I was like, no, F this S. I am about to do this. Like, I want this. I feel called to this, and it ain't gonna happen unless I take action. But the thing is, this is the difference between what we talked about before and after. This was inspired action. This was not pre-planned. This was not none of that. It was literally transpiring in the moment by moment, from shutting the computer screen to wiping the table to screaming and hollering to pulling up that tripod and setting that joker up right here to celebrate. You know, and I was just like, we doing this. But it was because of this workshop that it allowed me to do this. This is real life practices happening in real time. Because now, a day later, I sold another ticket. So I'm like, stop playing with me. Yes, thank you, SS. Celebrate, like DJ Khaled, and another one. That's like, that's energy that I'm bringing to this. And that is the big intention about the proof. Like, you see us here today, like talking, Naples, Kazoo, we in here, we doing it. But like, I want to show people, like, if you believe in yourself, if you embrace your power, nothing is off limits. Yeah. Nothing, sis. And I'm like, but again, we can't get there if we're not talking about what's going on in here. We're not talking about the noise. If we're not talking about the chatter, we're not talking about the limiting beliefs. If we're not talking about the things that keep us stuck in what was, when we're doing the work to rise through what was, so we can intentionally create what is. And that's the thing, like, I didn't realize either. I'm steadily creating these cycles and these circles and these patterns, and they're not getting me where I want to go. But it's because I'm so caught in the loop, and I'm caught in the loop. But that's why I said, when I was willing to bust out of that container of my comfort zone, I created the capacity for something new. And that's what we're doing. Like, we're living proof. Like, it hasn't been like this yet. But every step we take, whether it's a baby step or you know what I mean, like a big old leap, whatever. You know what I mean? I was thinking about that creature that be walking with the big old feet, not Godzilla, but the one that be in like the Swanson talking, the Loch Ness monster. Thinking about them type of stuff. But anyways, it don't matter whether it's this big of a step right here or if it's this big of a step. It all matters and it all counts, and it's worth celebrating. But again, like, this is where I also get to embrace that both and, because for so long I lived in the world of either or, and I didn't know what both and meant. I was either on this side of the spectrum or this side of the spectrum. And my work has allowed me to dance on the spectrum. Sometimes I still be on either end, but when I'm on either end, I'd be like, girl, you know we on either end, right? And I'd be like, yeah, we are, huh? And so then we get in here, and then we learn, we experience the full throttleness, yep, of that spectrum living. You know what I mean? Like, it's happening. It's all happening. So I'm so excited, and I appreciate you, SS, for just the encouragement and, just again, like, permission to be me with no nothing. Just do you, boo. It's invaluable, and it means so much.
Ditto. You already know. So I want to talk about one of the things that you mentioned, and it's that when you get that feeling, when you get inspired to do something, and then you get that nervousness. And this is the first time I've ever said that, like, a challenge, and I don't want to say a challenge, but whoever watches this, and as it becomes seen or seen by whomever, use what E said. So when you get that nervousness, when you feel inspired to take action, and then you get a pause, like it's that nervousness, do it. Because that is going to be what moves you forward. And I say that because that's a big challenge for me too. Because, you know, as I talked about in my work, I was in a box for years, that carefully curated, meticulous. Oh, okay. No, if it makes me uncomfortable, I'm doing it. If I don't feel like doing it, I'm doing it. That's also in a 21-day wellness plan, well-being plan in the book. Those are the things, it's the little things that you do every day with consistency and intention that are going to get you, and those inspired actions that come up and make you feel good, like made you dance, that is not only changing your work, your world, your path. But sis, I have to be honest, when I saw your post, it lit me up from the bottom of my feet to the top of my soul.
Mm.
Because it was like it spoke to me. It fed my soul. So those inspired actions that make you uncomfortable, where you start having those self chats, we call them, do it. Do it. I offer whoever sees this video to do it. It works. Game changing. Because as I was watching, looking on IG this morning, and it says it was about the consistency and this, that, and the other. And it says the work that you're doing might be slow, it may seem, and I'm remixing it, but it's those inspired actions that, with that pause, that make you nervous and you say, nope, I'm going to do it. That can take you from a small leap to a quantum leap.
Mm-hmm.
Because I know as a manifesting generator that it could be small or it could be huge, as long as I live in my truth, as long as I'm the first to put it first, as long as I embrace my power, is going to work out. And I could be feeling one way this way because, you know, I'm all over, emotionally all over the place. But if you don't do it when you're uncomfortable, you stunt your growth.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not saying a finger point, but I know it to be true for me. And I've seen it to be true for you. So
yeah, and that finger point thing is real, because it's like that part. If I got one finger pointing at you, I got at least 3 pointing back at me. So stop pointing your finger at people. Or if you are gonna point your finger at people, be ready to acknowledge these 3 that's pointing back at you.
Yeah. And I just take the action of not pointing the finger at all. And when I do feel like I want to point a finger, what do? Mirror check, right?
That part.
Coming up that I'm looking at somebody else for them, what's going on with me that I need to settle into that. Again, being the first to put you first in all ways, and embracing the power that you have. I'm going to keep saying it. Girl, it's clearly, it resonated with me. So I'm so forward to it. Before, because I know I have to attend Talk About It Thursday live with my girl. So, and before then, I want to get a Reiki session in and check in on my pops. But before that, what other offerings and what else do you want to share about, like, the Lighthouse Kalamazoo that's coming up for you?
So
you have your website. I'm not trying to put it all out there, but I am. So just like 30 seconds, feel what's going on, and I'll do the same.
Okay,
and then
great.
So you can be prepared for
So the Lighthouse Kalamazoo, the big offering at this time is the Embrace Your Power workshop that's happening this Saturday, June 1st, from 1 p.m. to 2:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Once that workshop concludes, I am going to start I'm going to start intentionally sharing the offering of my divine design readings. So divine design is a blend of human design and gene keys. And what we will do is focus on one area of your life out of 8 categories. So mental, physical, financial, relational, like husband, wife. It's all on the website. But anyways, one of those 8 areas. And then we will pull your chart, both charts, and figure out whatever that set point is that you have in one of those 8 areas that's happening right here, right now. We will create a plan of action based on your design. So we're going to look at your design. We're going to see what's actually going on here, what's going on in your human design chart, what's going on in your gene keys chart, and how, again, can we create a plan of action based on your design to get you out of that stuck point. So again, those are going to be offered. They are 90 minutes. They are $222, and everybody who knows me knows how I feel about my numbers. So yeah, that is going to be the next thing rolling out. And handing it off to you, sis.
Okay, thank you for that. I just put check out the Lighthouse Kalamazoo website, and we have the link over in the chat. So what do we have coming up with TRC? I have the Audacity Book Club that's starting in July, goes through August, 2 sessions. Tickets can be purchased on Eventbrite, and it is going to be an opportunity for sacred space. We're going to talk about the audacity to be. We're going to talk about this. And essentially, it's life application. So it won't be simply showing up to talk about the book. It's going to be hands-on. You'll get attuned for Reiki so you can do self-guided practices for yourself. We're going to talk about a little bit about the Dark Mother, which is you can also find on my blog. And what else do we have going on? The book. You'll be able to find it on Amazon, June 22nd.
Hey.
So excited.
Get ready.
Yes. It's definitely a work of love. It's been transformative for me. So my intent and my desire is that it will be transformational for whoever decides to read it. So in addition to that, I'm also always doing Reiki. It would do distant Reiki sessions, experiences. You can find that also on my blog. And most importantly, just keep showing up here every month. Easy Talks. We'll have real raw conversations about how life is lifing and how we are setting the intention to embrace our power by being the first to put us first and having the audacity to be who God created us to be. So thank you for showing up and watching today, or whenever you feel so called to watch it over and over again. And then also, I want you to go on over to Erica Brown on IG at 111 for Talk About It Thursday. Always gems dropped, always divine downloads. And sis, thank you for showing up today and just being open to all of this. So love you dearly, and I will see you at 111.
All right now. Until next time, y'all.
Have a good one. Bye.
Bye.